Welcome back everyone to Poppin' Often with Lofton. Today, we're doing a DPS tier list. I do have 3 rules to make sure that we're all on the same page. Rule number 1, this is a solo queue tier list. This means that these characters are judged based off their solo queue impact only, not their team up ability, not what comps they fit into, just them as a character. Rule number 2, this list is coming from the perspective of understanding how each character works. You have an understanding of this button does that and that button does this. And finally, rule number 3, we're judging the characters based off the impact that they have during their matches. With that out the way, let's get started. The first character that we have is Black Panther. Black Panther right now, in my honest opinion, is very overloaded. You don't really need to be good at Black Panther because he's so fast. Like, the fact that he's so fast means that he's very easy to get away with making mistakes. A lot of Panthers that I see make mistakes. No matter low elo, high elo, normal games, he makes a lot of mistakes, but it's covered up by the fact that he's super hard to hit. And this is something that kind of is okay, considering how many mechanics you need to use to play him, I guess, or how much mechanics are needed to use him. But he does so much damage for making such mistakes. I feel like he's a little bit too strong right now. I do think he's going to get nerfed. He's played a lot in high elo, and lordy, I can't stand him. Like, to the point where even the DPS have a hard time hitting this character. You have to CC this character, or he's going to get away most of the time. His mobility and damage alone aren't really the issue either. It's the fact that when he's using his abilities, he does a lot of damage, like I said, but the fact that you have to track this guy while team fighting is very difficult. You have this guy that you can't ignore because he will kill you. But you also can't ignore the people you're fighting because they will kill you. So it's kind of like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. When you're thinking about characters that like to go in and go out, they usually can't kill you. They'll go in, do some damage to you, but they have to leave. They can't straight 100 to 0 you. This character has so many resets that he can kill you just by going in. In my opinion, this character is an elo inflator. A lot of Black Panther players will de-rank once he is nerfed, and I believe he will get nerfed. He is that strong right now. And I find it funny because when this game first came out, a lot of people thought Black Panther was weak. I'm like, bro, this character's busted. Everybody thinks he's weak. And then as time goes on, people are like, oh my god, Black Panther is so strong. It's like, yes, this character is disgusting. So he will get nerfed in my opinion. I think what would make this character better right off the bat is making it so he has to be more accurate when he throws a spear. I think his kit right now is actually pretty decent, but the fact that you can make a mistake and just toss and miss and still do your resets is a little bit ridiculous. So maybe they'll nerf him in that aspect, but right now he's an elo inflator, and these are the characters that if you just play them, you will win more games off the nature of them just being so strong. The next character that we have is Black Widow. Now, I actually like her. I like her a lot, but I will say that she takes a lot of time to get good at. And even if you get good at her, it's not as rewarding as getting good at someone like Hawkeye or Hela. The problem with her is that she has no way to really fight you once you get in your face, and you don't really have a way to just straight insta-kill people. You're going to have to either shoot targets that are already low, or you're going to have to shoot a target, but by the time you shoot it again, they're going to get a heal or move out the way. When you're playing Hawkeye or Hela, you can kill them before they can get healed, and you can kill them before they get out the way. So, when it comes to Black Widow, she's just not there, and I don't know what they'll do to change her, because you don't really want a sniper to just one bang you with a hit scan. But like right now, I don't think that she's really worth learning. So I'm going to put her in that category of not worth learning until she gets a buff. Just play Hawkeye or just play Hela. Now I will say, if you really enjoy Black Widow, play Black Widow. I don't think there's any character in this game that's just so unplayable you can't win with him, and I don't think there's any character in this game that is so broken it's just like you need to fix this now, Marvel Rivals. I don't think that at all. I think they're doing a good job of keeping them in between the lines. However, you will most likely be disappointed in Black Widow because she's not giving you as much of a reward that you want for how much time you're putting into her right now, until they give her some type of buff to alleviate that stress. The next character that we have is Hawkeye. Now, Hawkeye is without a doubt just one of the strongest characters in the game, period. He can basically 2 to 3 shot tanks. Now, he does have follow-up damage. I feel a lot of people don't actually know this, but the further you are away with Hawkeye, I almost called him Hawkshot. the further you are away with Hawkeye, the less damage he does. The closer you are to Hawkeye, the more damage he does. Now, you might think that this is a problem, but the fact that he can shoot so many times in such a short span of time is a little ridiculous. And he has a lot of tools to just fight you in the face. Let's just say you're playing Black Panther, you're playing Spider-Man. You come in on this guy pops you before you come, so you don't die, but you take a lot of damage. And then he knocks you back, so you're flying backwards, and then he pops you again. You're dead. You don't have a way to really kill this guy if he doesn't act like an idiot, I guess. I mean, he's very strong. And even if you don't understand the intricacies of his kit, you don't understand how to be efficient with this character, he still pumps out a ton of damage. When you ult, you don't even have to hit the target. You just hit the silhouettes of the character and you get free shots on the characters. You can even kill him. So I think he's one of the strongest characters in the game right now. And I definitely think he needs a nerf. I don't really know how they're gonna do that, but he definitely is an elo inflator, in my opinion. You learn to play this character, I promise you'll win a lot more than you lose. The next character that we have is Hela. Hela is a sniper that's similar to Hawkeye. However, she doesn't have fall off damage. So you can shoot from across the map like Black Widow and do as much damage as you would if she's in your face. So the thing is, it's hard to gap close if she tags you because you're gonna take a ton of damage. And she also has a way to get away from you should she want to, and she also has a CC ability to drag you in and you can't move, to which she'll be able to headshot you. And she only needs, I think, is it what, a headshot and 2 body shots, or is it a body shot and a headshot? I don't even remember, but it's something atrocious. She will solo carry matches. And then if you go to her ultimate, which is a team wipe ability that lasts for a very long time that you can't avoid, you will get hit by it unless you go into cover. It's a wrap. So basically you could just sit really far away, throw stuff, get your ultimate, come a little bit closer, wipe the whole entire team, and do that on repeat, and you will win games. It's very simple. You don't even have to be good at her. But I will say, should you play against people that are a little bit smarter, she becomes harder to play. That being said, if there's a good Hela on the enemy team, you probably are gonna lose the game. I mean, she's that strong. She's stronger than those two, in my opinion. Like, she's like elo inflate #1. If you can play Hela, even at a basic level, she will be indestructible. Like, she will be very hard to beat, period. And if there is a Hela versus Hela, you most likely are gonna lose to the better one's gonna win the game, basically. So right now, she's just that strong, and I really don't know what they'll do. Maybe if they lower the damage when people get closer to her, so that way she can't one-bang you. Maybe have fall-off damage, so that way she doesn't do as much. Like Hawkeye, I guess, is a better way, like, to say. But she needs some way to really, like, tone her down a little bit. The next character that we have is Iron Fist. So Iron Fist, along with Black Panther, these are characters that require you to actually have teamwork to deal with. And as I said before, if you guys didn't know, all my videos on this channel are gonna be from a perspective of a solo queue player by himself, not using comms to talk to teammates and not using chat to type. I don't really do anything other than just play the game and ping. You can climb that way, by the way. So I should just mention that. Some people think you can't climb unless you play with people. That's incorrect. But this character is one of those characters that you are going to need to semi-work as a team. I don't mean talk to your team, but I just mean like your team's going to have to be on the same page, that when this guy gets close, we need to deal with this guy like right away. Otherwise, he's going to run through the entire team. This character also has infinite jumps. He also can block an insane amount of damage. This dude can block Punisher's ultimate. He just walks up and just does his counter, and then he just kills Punisher. Like, this dude is busted. Like, busted. As I will say, though, the higher you get with this character, the easier it is for your team to understand what to do against this character. However, that doesn't mean he's still not a problem. He will most likely take out one person, and should he trade a healer for himself, he wins that team fight. So right now, he's a little absurd. I think he has way too much movement, and I think he does way too much damage, and he doesn't have to necessarily aim. And he has tons of dashes as soon as you get away from him. He's ridiculous right now. He's basically Black Panther, but easier. I'll say that. So he's an elo inflator in my opinion. You're gonna hit a rank where it's like, okay, I need to actually play Iron Fist with a brain. Like, You can't just like turn it off the entire climb, but you can most likely hit plat. You can most likely hit plat by playing him and not knowing what you're doing. As long as you just know to go in when you're not being focused and just tag the highest priority target, you will most likely be able to win way more games because he's that strong right now. You're usually going to get the response of like, Iron Fist is weak. All you have to do is just team up on him and no. In a world of solo queue, or in a world of you don't have a full lobby stacked on your team, that's not going to happen. In a world where you're not using your mic to communicate with your teammates, that's not going to happen. Most of the time, this character will kill another character and either A, get out, or B, die. But he is successfully getting someone as long as he does the right thing, basically. I don't really know how you would tone down this character, to be honest. Maybe remove the... I don't know. I'm not a dev. I don't really know what you would do, but he's just too strong right now, especially for lower rings. The next character that we have is Iron Man. So Iron Man is in a pickle. Now he's in a pickle. The thing about Iron Man is he's actually generally strong when the enemy team has no counter. And so you will win more games than you lose because not a lot of people know how to play against something that's flying. However, should you run into someone that knows how to handle flying characters, you're gonna lose. So you're gonna need to swap. That's why this game is so dynamic, because you will need to swap eventually. He's one of those characters you really can't one trick all the time. If they have a Namor, you're most likely gonna not be able to play the game. If they have a hit scan character that's good at aiming, like the player is good at aiming, you're most likely not gonna be able to play the game. That being said, about 80 to 90% of the time, you will be able to play the game. And so if you just queue, I'm gonna just say 50 games as Iron Man and you understand how to play Iron Man, you most likely will win about 40 of them and lose 10 off the simple fact that somebody can shoot you out the air. But he is a super high carry character, and in my opinion, he's the elo inflator. I don't think he needs to get nerfed though, so don't confuse elo inflation as I want characters nerfed, because I don't. I mean, I want the first 4 characters nerfed, but I don't think Iron Man needs a nerf. But I do think you can play Iron Man and like win more games that you're not supposed to win because they don't know how to shoot you out the air. They're really good. They are really good Iron Man players that know how to air strafe and all that extra good stuff. But most of the Iron Man players that I see, once a DPS or you as a player shoot the sky once or twice, he has no clue what to do anymore, and he's just a useless teammate basically. So unless you're a true Iron Man player, he's just gonna elo inflate you to the point where you're gonna start losing. That being said, I don't think he needs a nerf though. The next character that we have is Magik. Magik is super strong. Magik is actually, again, one of the strongest characters in the game. Now, there's gonna be some, there's gonna be some, there's a word I'm looking for and I cannot find it right now. But there's gonna be some conversation around this one. Magik is bad if you're good. Let me put it this way. If people understand how to deal with Magik, Magik is actually not that great of a character. She's not weak, but she can be outplayed. There's room to outplay this character. That being said, you really have to try to outplay a Magik. And you can't get flustered. If you get flustered against this character, she'll kill you. I think she actually does entirely way too much damage. She just needs to tap you once, and if she can manage to get onto you, you're dead. I think she deserves a nerf, but I wouldn't be upset if they don't touch her for a while, because she's not that strong, but she is stronger than what I think is like normal for a strong character right now. And I know there's going to be some controversy around this. Some of y'all gonna be like, well, pop it. She's super slow. Her speed is I don't care. This character does a lot of damage. She just needs to get to you. And if she can get to you, which is very easy to do in this game. I don't know. People think that it's like extremely hard to gap close in this game. It's very easy to gap close. Unless you're playing a straight 6v6, it's easy to gap close. Now, I will say you can mess up your combo. I will say you can whiff your stuff. But should she tag you, you're most likely going to die most of the time. And her hitbox is ginormous. So I'm going to put her at... she has the same like thing as Tony Stark. It's like she is one of those characters that she will elo inflate you until you get to a rank that understands how to deal with this character, and then you're going to need to learn how to be a good Magic player. And once you learn how to be a good Magic player, you're going to be unstoppable. like she's that strong. She's that strong. We have a lot of DPS are some elo inflators, bro. I don't know if that's just the intention of the characters or like they do plan to touch these characters, but right now we're not looking too hot. We're not looking too hot. Next character that we have is Moon Knight. Moon Knight, right off the bat, I'm just going elo inflation. Bro, this character is stupid. Like actually, it's stupid. Now you could say, Poppin', all you gotta do is break the arc and then he doesn't do it. This character is stupid. Listen to me. This character is dumb. Look, most of the time, he will get away with throwing arcs because nobody destroys things that characters summon on the map. That's one of the main issues. On top of that, this guy out damages almost every DPS. All he has to do is throw the arc at the same time that he's throwing his regular attack. It's going to hit the arc and you're gonna chunk the person. Should they stay and try to fight you, you kill them. Should they try to run away, they're chunked. Like, this guy has no faults. The only way this character like is bad is if another DPS is better than he is. This is like a skill check character for your DPS. A lot of this game, a lot of the DPS characters need a DPS to handle. Iron Man is one of those characters. It's like most of the time the support won't be able to do it, and most of the time the tank won't be able to do it. You're relying on your DPS to be good enough to deal with that DPS. And Moon Knight is one of those DPS characters that are extremely hard to deal with, even if you understand how to deal with the character, because your DPS is going to need to handle him. And as I said before, he out damages mostly all the DPS if he can throw an arc down, period. So the only choice is to A, kill him before he kills you, or B, let him throw the arc, kill the arc, and then try to kill him before he gets another arc. Once you destroy his arc and you get on top of him, he's kind of useless. But he can run away and then you have to like redo that whole thing all over again. Keep in mind, you're doing this while team fighting. You're having to destroy this man's arc while team fighting. So it's not just the character himself. You are psychologically having to deal with this dude as well as his entire team all at the same exact time. It's not possible. He just does entirely too much damage. I don't think his kit is broken, but I do think his damage numbers have to go. Like, it is entirely too high for a character like this, in my opinion. Now, again, there is counter. There is counter. Destroy the arc. Re-engage. Get close to him. He does have a hard time like handling people in his face. But I think that a character is a little bit too strong when you have to rely on a knowledge of another player to deal with that character. Do you know what I mean? So I won't say Iron Man falls into that category because Iron Man is a flying character, and no matter what game you're in, flying characters are annoying to deal with. So Iron Man wouldn't need a nerf in that regard. But as far as Moon Knight goes, you do need to have a competent not an ADC, wrong game. You do need to have a competent DPS to deal with that character. Otherwise, this character just runs wild and wins games. He is definitely an elo inflator in my opinion. And if you want some wins without actually getting better at Marvel Rivals, this is the character to do it. Again, not saying there are not good Moon Knight players. However, y'all is lying right now if y'all think this character doesn't give you more wins than loses because people don't know how to deal with you. I'm just gonna say that. Next character that we have is Namor. Now, Namor is garbage. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This character is butt. But if he plays with Luna, this character is busted. So dude, this guy's team up ability is freaking insane. But we're not judging Namor based off team ability, okay? We're judging this character based off freaking solo. This character sucks without Luna. He's okay, I guess. He's alright. But he's definitely one of those characters that are based off your skill level. Like, you're gonna have to be the Namor player that like puts the freaking octopi puts the octopi on the wall. You gotta be one of those crazy Namor players, all right? If you're the basic Namor player that just throws the freaking thing on the ground and then tries to kill people, he sucks. You have to actually be the psycho Namor player that knows the little bits and pieces of the spots to put these things in. However, should you play with Luna, it doesn't matter. You just put that thing down, press the button to throw the enhanced trident, and that thing is exploding. Whoever's getting hit by that thing. Jokes aside. Again, I think the character is just as good as you are as a player, so it's based on your skill level. The analogy that I like to use, and it's probably a horrible analogy, but basically think of a calculator. If you were to put a calculator in the hands of someone who doesn't understand how to use a calculator, they're not going to be able to use a calculator. But if you put it in the hands of someone who's really smart and understands the intricacies of a calculator, they'll be able to do a lot more with that calculator. Namor is a calculator. The better you are as a player, the better this character is. The worse you are as a player, the worse this character is. Until you team up. You team up, this character is elo inflation. Bro, I love Namor. He's like one of the main characters I use to counter Tony Stark. But I will say this dude will blow you up if he has Luna as a team up ability. Next character you have is Psylocke. So there's two types of Psylockes. There's a Psylocke that's just gonna kind of camp and just wait for her ultimate and then just like go out there and ult. Or you have the Psylocke that actually understands how to play Psylocke, and you know, they'll destroy you and your team. Psylocke, I'm not even going to talk too much about, honestly. She is one of those characters that are just based off your skill level. She's not an elo inflator. She's not hard, I guess is like what I want to say too. She's not like insanely difficult to play, but she has windows. The characters that are elo inflators up top, they have windows, but they're like very small. The thing with like Psylocke is her windows are pretty massive, and if you just screw up anything, you kind of have to wait for your whole rotation to come back again. Also, her ult's pretty easy to avoid. So once you start getting higher ranks, she doesn't really hit him that much unless she does it in a team fight. However, it's very strong, but you're only as good as you are with. You're only as good with Psylocke as you are as a player, and she's basically in the same category as Namor. So I'm not going to talk too much about her just because that's where I believe she deserves to be. Next character that we have is Scarlet Witch. Right off the bat, elo inflator. Now I will say the higher you get in rank, the easier it is to deal with this character. Like, she is a noob stomper, and so I'm going to keep her at elo inflation because a lot of players will climb with Scarlet doing kind of like the noob stomp thing, and then they will hit a wall where it's like, bro, I can't win games anymore, and it's because she's, you know, you're gonna have to learn how to play her. It's similar to Iron Man. It's like you can just win because people don't know how to deal with you. But once you get to a rank, people understand how to deal with that character, then you're gonna have to be a better version of that character in order to start winning more games again. I don't think she needs a nerf, but she is strong. Like she is definitely a strong character for sure. The only thing that I'll say that makes it so that she doesn't need a nerf is her ultimate is like stoppable. However, should she be paired with Magneto, you ain't stopping that ult and it's just gonna blast your entire team. But her ultimate is stoppable and it's also blockable. Like if someone were to stand behind a wall or stand behind a shield, it will just break the shield. So there's a lot of outplay potential to this character, but a good Scarlet Witch will destroy a game. So I definitely think she's an elo inflator until you get good at her, or until you get to a rank that is high enough, and then it will just, you know, you'll have to play better. But even at that point, she's still a good character in my opinion. But I don't want to put her at best picks because you'll climb even if you don't really understand the best practices with this character. Next we have Spider-Man. Spider-Man, that's rough, bro. Oh God. So I actually mained Spider-Man when I first started playing this game. I really love the character. I love how they made him feel. They did a really, really good job incorporating the true Spider-Man into this game. That being said, Spider-Man kind of struggles. He struggles on kill secures. Like, you're really gonna have to be cognizant about when you really go in to secure that kill. Otherwise, you're gonna be playing a knock-up Spider-Man. Your job as Spider-Man in this case is to just permanently knock people up on repeat until you can secure a kill. Should you be able to secure a kill on someone that's either out of position or just low, you can go in and do that. But Spider-Man is definitely going to be based on your skill level. He is a hard character, and he really rewards you for being good at Spider-Man. And he does have weaknesses, and if you are a true Spider-Man man, you can get around him. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're not gonna win most likely. Even if you do know what you're doing, I mean, you still might not win. It's rough. It's rough. The strength the strength of Spider-Man really comes behind being hard to hit and just making everything more chaotic. If this guy's always buzzing around you like a fly, no pun intended, then you're gonna have to focus on him as well as everyone else. But the difference is he doesn't kill you instantly. Like Black Panther does this, Iron Fist does this, but they can actually kill you. Spider-Man can't just straight 100 to 0 you most of the time. He's gonna have to fire a few shots off to you, or you're gonna have to be low or stranded for him to be able to actually kill you. Otherwise, he can't. And that's what I said, where he then turns into a knockup bot, and you're just kind of knocking people up and waiting for your ultimate to wipe the entire team. So, in my opinion, he's based off skill level. Not biased at all. I just think he's a very hard character to play, especially at a high level. Next character we have is Squirrel Girl. So Squirrel Girl is considered bad by a lot of people, but I don't think she's bad at all. I think she's actually very good, especially if you become good at the character. She's not necessarily a hard character to play, but she's also not an elo inflator. You are gonna have to know how to play her way, basically. Like, she's a character where it's like, you will have to learn how to play Squirrel Girl, just like you'll have to learn how to play, I don't know, you have to learn to play Namor, right? You're not gonna just pick up Namor and be like, I got it. You're gonna have to learn how to play Namor to be deadly. Squirrel Girl is like that. That being said, her skill floor is actually really low. So I'm gonna put her at best picks. Regardless of how good you are with this character, she is useful. And so, in my opinion, she's under the best picks because it doesn't matter. You can be good or bad, and she will still be useful somewhat for your team. When it comes to using her ult, again, very useful, even if you don't really understand the most efficient way to use that ability. Next up, we have Star-Lord. Star-Lord is, yo, low-key elo inflator. But like, to be really honest with y'all, Star-Lord's just based off skill level. He's not an easy character to play, and a good Star-Lord deserves to win, basically. Like, he's one of those characters where it's like, on paper, he seems like, bro, he's busted. Like, bro, he's super easy on paper. But actually play this character, and you're gonna notice you need to get good at this character to even be you need to be good at this character to even like make a dent in the game. And then once you get good at this character, you're gonna have to be even better at this character to start winning your games. That being said, if you are a good Star-Lord, you will run over the game, period. He's that good. But he's not just a character you just pick. You will have to invest some time into this character. So I do think he deserves to be based on skill level. Next character that we have is Storm. So Storm, a lot of people actually think Storm sucks as well due to her slow movement speed. A lot of Storm players actually don't know how to play Storm properly, but her kit is very unique and it's very well done in my opinion. But again, a lot of players don't know how to play Storm properly. That being said, I think she's very good. However, if you don't understand how to play her, you're not gonna do well. A lot of people, I think, play Iron Man and then play Storm thinking that Storm is Iron Man, and it's not like that, and they're disappointed. Storm plays like Storm, and only Storm mains understand what I'm talking about, but Storm plays like Storm. She is going to be as good as you are as a player. She's based off your skill level, or based on your skill level. She's very powerful once you learn how to play her. I promise that if you like Storm and you feel like it's rough, dude, give it some time. You will be surprised how many games you end up winning because she's just that good. But I will say, she doesn't reward you 1-to-1. So let's just say you practice Storm for an hour. She's not going to reward you for that hour. You're gonna have to put in like 4 hours and you'll get a reward. So you have to do more work to be rewarded by Storm, but the end of the tunnel does have that light. And I do think that Storm is worth playing. I do think that she's a good character. She's just kind of slow in the air, and you're gonna need to learn how to hide behind objects and, you know, stuff like that. But once you get used to how to navigate the skies with this character and how to do things properly, how to enhance yourself, you will start seeing like a massive change in your games and in the pace of your games and how well you do. Next up, we have the Punisher. Very simple character, very straightforward, just a solid pick. There's nothing really to say. He's just one of those like generic soldier characters that usually anybody can pick up and play. It's not that difficult to play this character, and he's very strong for what he is. He's actually in a really good spot in my opinion. Next character that we have is Winter Soldier. So, the thing about Winter Soldier, all right, is I can't even put this dude on elo inflation because that's false. However, this character is strong. He's like, he's kind of a little bit absurd right now. I think he needs a nerf. He's kind of like Iron Man in a sense of like, if he doesn't get a nerf, I'm not gonna be mad. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Iron Man, I don't think needs a nerf. I'm sorry, it's Magik. If Magik doesn't get a nerf, I won't be mad. If he doesn't get a nerf, I won't be mad. However, I do think he's strong, and I think he does a lot of damage. But I don't think he's easy either. Like, you can't just pick up this character and just win. It's not happening. I think he's under just based off skill level, dude. Like, really, this character is strong. He's super strong. But you do have to get good at the character for him to be strong. Does that make a character not strong? You know? I don't think so. I think the character still needs a nerf. But I will say you need to put the time in to be that strong, which means that he's not inherently strong, which means nerfing him might make it hard for people that are new to play the character. I know that's one of the struggles that developers usually have when they have characters that they have to balance. A lot of times it's like, well, this character is super strong in a pro player's hands, but it's like, oh, it was super hard to play in a newer player's hands. So what do? Nerf it? But if you nerf it, it's gonna be even worse for those players. So it's like a juggling they have to do. Most of the time, they will nerf for pro play and just sack the rest of the player base because, you know, pro kind of matters more than the regular games. But we haven't really seen any balance patches, unless you play beta. We haven't really seen any balance patches yet, and so I don't really know what they'll do with him. I don't think he's so broken that he needs a nerf, but I do think he's a bit strong. So do with that as you will. Next up, we have Wolverine. Wolverine is one of those characters that people, again, think are very awful, but I don't think Wolverine is bad. I think he can use a buff, but I don't think he's bad. He's one of my main DPS. And I don't want to be biased and be like, bro, he's strong, because he's not like mega strong, but he's not weak. He's like balanced. He's balanced for what he does. You know what I mean? And I think balanced in a game full of characters that are kind of strong seems weak. But I think Wolverine is balanced. If anything, just lower the cooldown on that thing on his passive, the one that makes it so he heals back up. Lower that cooldown. But like in terms of damage numbers, you're not supposed to pump out a ton of damage until you dive somebody. But the fact that you're able to reposition any player on the team that you choose to reposition on is a little bit nuts. You also can use your dash as a way to be mobile around the map. He's very hard to hit if you play him properly. So again, I'm not gonna shoot for bias. All right. But I will say that if you are good at Wolverine, he falls into the same category as Winter Soldier. However, Wolverine is a little bit weaker because he doesn't have range. So I think he's balanced for what he is. However, in a game full of characters that are kind of strong, balance kind of don't cut it sometimes. So that's where we are with him, in my opinion. I do think he's based off skill level, but if you're looking for a melee character, and you don't care which it is, Wolverine is not worth learning. If you are like popping, bro, I just want a character that can just fight up close. Wolverine is not worth learning. You can learn other melee characters. However, if you love Wolverine, learning Wolverine will reward you. But again, you have to come at it with like he's a balanced character. So, you know, you're gonna have to get used to dealing with characters that are a little bit stronger than you are. Most of the games that I play, I usually play the underpowered character. Not because I want to, that's just apparently what I like. So I'm used to it. But let's just say you're a person that's not used to that, you're gonna think he's very weak. My advice is just play around his cooldowns. He is a very cooldown focused character. You're not gonna run in and just do whatever you want. He's a very windowed based cooldown bruiser character, and you're gonna have to play it like one. He takes some time to get used to. Once you get used to him, you're gonna notice you're gonna start rocking kids. But he takes a while to get used to. So again, if you are like popping, I want a melee character, I don't care which, learn Magik, learn Black Panther, learn Iron Fist. If you're like, Poppin, I love Wolverine and I just don't want to play anything else, learn Wolverine and you'll be rewarded, but it's just gonna take a while. That's all. Black Widow, though, does need a buff, in my opinion. I think she needs something. Wolverine can do without a buff because I think he'll be broken. Like, I think if you buff this character in a specific way, even slightly, he might be overtuned. So I think they have to be careful about this character. For the most part, that's the end of the list. We have the Elo Inflators. These are the characters that no matter what you do, even if you suck, you're still gonna win games because they're that impactful. You have the Best Picks. These are the characters that even if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna contribute to the match. Doesn't matter, you're gonna contribute to the match and you'll be doing okay. The next one that we have is based on your skill level. So these characters are only as good as you are. And then we have the Not Worth Learning, which is just wait for a buff possibly. However, in Wolverine's case, again, don't think a buff might be the best unless they do it properly because he will end up being broken. He's actually a very balanced character, surprisingly. At the end of the day, the tier list is just my opinion. Let me know your opinion down below. If you want to see the tank tier list, it's already out. If you want to see the healer tier list, it's already out. I appreciate you guys watching. And until next time, you know what I always say. The guys doing what? Popping often. Well, often.